But also, this is the game that they're playing. Where now we hear from people like Joe Scarborough, oh, the shot lasts 6 months to a year. It's just like the flu shot. You get it every 6 months. But even that, does anyone get the flu shot every 6 months? There's a difference there too. It's a difference of like double the number of shots. I think most people, if they get the flu shot on a regular basis, they get it every year. So now they're saying, yeah, you just get it every 6 months. What's the big deal? Part of the big deal here, which you hope that we forget, is that that's not what you said at first. That's not how this was sold. That's not how the shot was sold. Now, when I say sold, it was not really sold, it was more like forcing it into people's arms. Which is the other part of this, because he also says, well, it's your choice if you want to live an unhealthy life. That's not what you were saying 2 years ago. And that's what we were saying 2 years ago. That's what those of us who don't believe in, forcing chemicals in people's bodies if they don't want it. That's what we were saying. We were saying, however you feel about the vaccine should be your choice. So if you're a pro-vaccine person and you think that it's really unhealthy to not get the vaccine, you're allowed to think that. So your answer should be, well, if you want to live an unhealthy life, then that's your choice. Now they've adopted that attitude. Do what you want, it's your choice. That's not what they were saying before. And they certainly were not saying, yeah, this will be just like the flu shot, and or actually even less effective than the flu shot, because this one you have to get every 6 months for your entire life. So if you live 60 more years, you're going to get this, the COVID quote-unquote vaccine 120 times. That is not what they were saying. That's what they're saying now, and hoping we don't remember what they actually said. I want you to hear this exchange between a reporter and a Karen Jean-Pierre, and this is a wonderful clip because between the two of them, they may be setting the record for, I don't know, lowest collective IQ. But let's listen to this together.
What we could still on gun violence. We have spoke like between me and some friends that in this country, and this, I'm making this point because we need to remind people that America is the only country on earth that people die by gun without even being in war. Because I'm giving this example because in Africa there is countries in war, but people doesn't even have access to guns. It's very hard because the government and everybody is very conscious that the guns can cause a lot of destruction. But in this country, it's very normal for everybody to have access to guns, and this needs to be controlled. But what can people like me, common people, what can we do to help control guns?
We'll get to Karen. I want to hear her answer because she's a very eloquent, articulate person. She always has insightful things to say, so I really want to give her a chance to answer that. But here's what her answer should be to what you just heard. Her answer should be, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. How did you get in this building? What are you doing here? What she actually claims, the reporter there is not from this country, claims that America is the only country in the world where people die by gun violence that is not, when it's not in the context of a war. This is simply not close to true. It's especially not true in Africa, but it's not true anywhere on God's green earth. Is that what Karen Jean-Pierre will say? Well, we'll find out.
Well, look, what I can speak to, there are many ways that people can get involved in dealing with the gun violence that we're seeing here. I'm not going to make any suggestions, but there are ways that folks can go out there and participate in a way that's healthy, in a way that actually helps deal with a real issue. What I can speak to is what the president has done, What I can speak to is what the president believes. What I can speak to is the president's record on this, which is, you can see for yourself as a senator, his last 2 years as president and the executive actions that he's taken. He signed a bipartisan piece of